You beautiful, sexy people, you. Are you ready to have your socks rocked off? Are you ready to blame the Southern man, to keep on rocking in a free world, and to realize the hypocrisy that is everything? You're so fortunate to have me, and I'm fortunate to have you. That's why I love you, and I want you to hit that subscribe button right now because we're going to share some love. So you've all heard this idiocy that's happening right now about Joe Rogan said things I disagree with. Point of interest here, I've never even heard a Joe Rogan podcast. So, I mean, I remember him as the guy couldn't stand on Fear Factor. And then, like, supposedly was he, like, stealing Dane Cook's jokes or something? There's, like, some rift between them. I mean, when you have a rift with Dane Cook and you're Joe Rogan, the guy who's eating bugs on TV, I don't have a lot of time to get to know you. So, anyway, Neil Young, being the forever activist he is, you know, the hippie god of the 60s, against the oppression of the man, against the big corporation, a bit against liberty and justice for all. No way of saying it. Was that what hippies were? I forget what hippies were. They're just all they were for getting stoned and having coitus with ugly chicks. So Neil Young says, I want my music taken off Spotify because I'm a grumpy old man and I don't agree with who Joe Rogan has on his, podcast. Never mind, there are millions of subscribers on Spotify that have never listened to Joe Rogan. Never mind that Neil Young supposedly has 60% of his music is played on Spotify. So all of his fans on Spotify, he said, screw my fans. I don't like you. I don't want you because you subscribe to... okay, let me just go back on this a little bit. Think about this. This is a thought that just popped in my head. This is like saying, I don't want my music to play on the radio because the radio that's in your car can also pick up like Sean Hannity or Glenn Beck or something. It is a wild... Here's the thing. Goes back to hippies and drugs. Kids, don't do drugs. There's a reason why they say that. It just doesn't work out. Speaking of working out, you should go work out instead of doing drugs. It's amazing. You'll get the same feeling just about, and you'll look better and, be happier. So here's grumpy old Neal. Look at that. I mean, the guy looks like a turkey. He looks like he ought to be running across the field during a Virginia Tech game, screaming out, "Go Hokies," or whatever the hell their name is. This is the first thing. Days after pulling his music from Spotify, rock icon. Let me tell you what, there's nothing rock and roll about Neil Young. All right, maybe folk icon, maybe coffee house icon, maybe Depends icon. But there is nothing about this guy that says rock and roll. Except his name, Neil Young, reminds you of Vince Neil. He took a parting shot at the streaming service Friday, saying he wouldn't miss what he called its degraded and neutered sound quality. Wait a second here. Are you talking about Joe Rogan is a degraded and neutered sound quality? No. Survey says no. I'm going to get to that in a second here. The popular streaming service said Wednesday it removed Young's music after a singer demanded it choose between him or controversial podcast host Joe Rogan. You know what? He's not controversial. It's controversial that you don't listen to Joe Rogan. Think about that one. Oh, you don't listen to Joe Rogan? Well, you are obviously a controversial person. Only non-controversial people listen to Joe Rogan. Flip the ideal. Gosh, I'm such an anti-establishment person. Has been accused of spreading misinformation. I hate that term. God, I hate that term, misinformation. They won't say lies anymore because they know lies, like people actually has a true definition. So they're going to go with misinformation. It's information, but it misses the point. That's why they say misinformation. The point is, about their dribbling idea of control. They feel good sitting in their house thinking to themselves, oh, look, everybody outside is doing exactly what I want them to. If you don't believe that, just look at the legislation, the EPA, without an act of Congress, mandated on portable gas cans. They created this convoluted mess that has some sort of stopper built in it so it doesn't spread fumes. Because someone came up with the idea, obviously somebody who's never mowed a yard, that your lawnmower has fumes, or the gasoline cans spew fumes into the atmosphere and it smothers Mother Earth or whatever they do. In the meantime, every time you go to try to fill up your lawnmower, gasoline spills. It's a known defect of the design. So what happens when politicians design stuff, not engineers. But I digress. Back to Neal Young here. A little step off the path. I'm sure. Listen, I'm fake. I'm making stuff up. Don't pay attention to me. Whatever you're listening to this on, everything I say is for comedic value. Please do not think that I'm serious and start me down again. Isn't that sad? Every time you make a statement, you have to do a non-disclosure of it. Anyway, so let's see here. What is Neal Young truly upset about? Let's see. What is Pono? It's a Hawaiian word for proper. Anybody remember this? Well, Pono is a little bit of digital music history. And it was a alternative to iTunes, or now it'd be an alternative to Spotify, or to Amazon Music, or I don't know what else is out there. Pandora. I mean, I don't know what's there, right? Here's the key words. It was developed by musician Neal Young and his company Pono Music, which raised money for the development and an initial production through a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter. Let's go back to the background. Right? Oh, I know. This is Neal Young saying. Pono stated goal to present songs as they first sound during studio recording sessions, using high-resolution 24-bit 192 kilohertz audio instead of the compressed audio inferiority that MP3s offer. That's what Neal Young sounds like when he's yelling at clouds. Let's see here. Let's go down here. Background. Let's get a little background on it. Writing in his book, Waging Heavy Peace. Jesus, please. God, where do these people come from? Neal Young expressed concern about digital audio quality. Here's a guy who's probably deaf from all the music he's listened to. Criticizing, in particular, the quality offered by Apple's iTunes store. Seeing a trend here? He's an anti-corporate person until a corporate person pays him. My goal is to try and rescue the art form that I've been practicing for the past 50 years, he said. We're up to 60 years now. Yeah, because it was founded in 2012. So for the past 60 years, he's been doing Pono, which I can't look at that without thinking it says porno, right? I mean, doesn't that just look like porno? They had musical players, all this stuff. You had to pay more for their music, but it was lossless, and it was going to be so great, and the world was going to be together, and dogs and cats were going to live in harmony. It was going to be a wonderful, I don't know what it was going to be, convoluted mess. Despite taking a hit from leaving the platform, which he later said accounted for around 60% of all his streamed music, Young said in a post on his website that he felt better about the decision. Why did you feel better, Neal, you ask? In the post titled More Songs and Less Sound, Young singled out Spotify We're streaming digital versions of songs at 5% of the music's content. There it goes. That's it. He goes back to the article there in Wikipedia in 2012. He's talking about he wanted the music to sound like it does out of the studio. And now he's saying it's only 5%. He's looking at ones and zeros, and he says, well, why are there less ones and zeros here than there are over here? Why is there less data being captured out of an MP3 than there is from an old vinyl record? Hey, Neil Young, you know what you don't ever talk about is how digital removes all the hiss and scratching that analog has. And that low frequency noise takes up a metric butt ton of space. So you don't hear, oh, sorry, because that had to be annoying. But you don't hear that. It's, yeah, there's some things in digital that's not as good. And here's one of the things, when you ever hear people talk about the warmth. Warmth is a thing, but it's not a thing to everybody. Warmth is, you kind of have a richness to it. Something else, go find, and it was really great. I think YouTube has it, actually. What's the Beach Boys album? It's the Animal Sounds. And they have on there, is it Help Me Rhonda? Or is it In My Room? Gosh, I used to know my classic rock a lot better. Sorry. But anyway, they have one of those, and it's the original mono. And I think they also maybe recorded it originally in stereo. And you can listen to them side by side, and it's a big-time difference. But here's the other thing. Music is recorded, all music's recorded in stereo. So really, if you're listening to it on anything other than two speakers, you're not listening to music in that studio sound. Think of it as this: you're trying to get back to a acoustic guitar, this is rock and roll. You're trying to get back to acoustic guitar, a harmonica, and a dude sitting in a chair tapping his foot, singing about how he's got the Mean Woman blues, and that is, you're receiving that in stereo because it's coming into your left and right ear, unless you're deaf out of one ear. So, oh, look, I didn't even read this, and here he goes talking about this. The very next paragraph. It's just math, wrote Young, the angry professor. It's easy to do that with digital, thus allowing more songs and less music to stream faster. That's because 95% of your music is missing. And I will not stand for missing music. You know what's sad? He's not taking the other side of the argument. The other side of the argument is people might like his music with 95% less of it. I like his music with 100% less of it because it's awful. It's just grumpy old. It's that stale, hippie, how did this guy get famous music? It's not cool 60s music. There's nothing cool about it. It's just grumpy. It's all protest songs. And it's all about how you don't agree with him. And that is exactly what this is too. Everybody would be, he is the intellectual. He is the gift to you, and you should listen to him all the time and never vary from that script. Let's see, it's just math, song less music. That's because 95% is missing. That's what Spotify, the tech company, does. Who says that? Who writes a sentence like that? That's what Spotify, the tech company, does. You know, Spotify, if they're taking 95% of Neil Young's music, they should pay him 95% less for each song they play. They might actually have need to be reimbursed for royalty checks they've given him. Spotify, then you, let's see here. That's what Spotify, the tech company, does. Spotify then sell you the downgraded, that doesn't make any sense, then sells you the downgraded music. So, there you go. Pogo, porno, Pono! Neil Young's failed. Here's a guy who knows everything about music that people supposedly love, and his opinion is so important. We all must listen to it. And he has failed company. But Pono's products are based on the F-FLAC Affleck. Audio format, which the company rebranded as Pono audio format. The player device called the Pono player. I mean, how can you be serious? How can you be serious calling it the Pono? I mean, porno, pony, bono, whatever. This is stupid. Was initially priced at $400 for 128 gigs of memory. 64 built in plus 64 on a micro SD. 64 gigs of memory on a micro SD is $8. Press release noted that the Pono player, developed in collaboration with Air Acoustics, could store 100 to 500. Jeez, I can't take this serious. High resolution digital music albums. People don't want albums anymore, and I hate that too, because you really are missing something, not getting the actual physical album, because the way the songs are put together, and they're 1 to 12 or whatever else, they go in a way. Look at what's that other band I can't stand? Oh, I'm gonna lose everybody if I say it. If you watch Wizard of Oz with Pink Floyd. I think it's another brick on the wall, that album. They match up, supposedly. I've never seen it done, but anyway, the two match up. So your songs are put in an order. It's not a playlist. It's not a shuffle. It's all this stuff. It is from first song to the last song, and you kind of get the whole feel of the album. People don't do that anymore. So, all right, Pono player is an antiquated thing, and it's only like, what was this, like 10 years ago they launched it, had the first thing like in 5-6 years ago, something. Let's see here. In 2012, Rolling Stone report, Pono relayed generally positive anticipation, but quoted musician Jim James, I don't know Jim James, as asking, I've already bought Aretha Franklin's Respect a lot of times. Do I have to buy it again? In 2012, Jim James had it figured out. He had it all figured out right there. And Waco was launched at CES in 2015. Pono received mixed reviews. Conducted a blind test, like a blind test for audio music, for an audio device, with 15 volunteers. Comparing the Affleck format on Pono Player with iTunes downloads, the AAC format played on iPhone, he found that the participants did not prefer Pono. A subsequent review by Stereophile magazine deemed the Pono Player's performance superior to more expensive components and players, with the review saying, I am pleased to report that CD rips sounded excellent through the player. But CDs are digital as well. It's just another form of digital. God, these idiots. Why do people buy into this? I mean, I am a marketer's dream, but I can still smell BS when I step in it. Anyway, y'all, Neil Young's full of the aforementioned BS, and don't pay attention to him and his whole I am powerful, Neil Young, I am the overlord, I look like a scruffy dog. And bow down to me and quit listening to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is only getting attacked because he's the biggest thing on the platform. Just leave the big people alone. They're going to do their own thing, and people are going to listen to them. I mean, why do you think Kim Kardashian has fans? She's the biggest woman in the room. Y'all like and subscribe, all the other good stuff. Till next time, Godspeed. Check your rearview mirror. Use your turn signals. And remember, the pedal on the right's the fun switch. Peace.